And we are live on this Sunday afternoon with some incredible news about Unlock 2.0, the sequel. I want to give it just a few minutes while people join. And I also want to make sure that if you're watching, that you share this live video onto your pages so more people get the information. As you know, big tech is censoring big time. And this is the time that we have to start getting people prepared because we are going to be ready to go and launch this very, very soon. So I want to go through a few things with you. I want to see some comments. I also want to see comments down here about what county and where it is you're located. I want to see as we go through this where everybody's at as we have more and more people join this live broadcast. I don't know how many out there. Also want to see a comment if you participated and helped circulate in Unlock Michigan 1.0 this last year to repeal the 1945 law. I want to see those comments on here too. More comments, more interaction mean more activity, more sharing. It's important, again, that we spread the word as much as possible. I am here today to talk about the excitement of Unlock 2, but I always believe that it's important for us to go back and review what we've already accomplished, what we set out to do, and why it was important before we go into Unlock 2 and how we got here and why this is so important and the details about Unlock 2 as well. So a year ago, first of all, you'll notice behind me on this backdrop, we have Stand Up Michigan, which is a grassroots organization. It was comprised of over 400,000 members last year during April and May before Facebook basically deleted us for the very first time. One of the things that many of the people that were connecting wanted to do was free us of all of the lockdowns that had happened during that time. And in order to do that, we had to repeal or get rid of the 1945 law. We also had to find a way to have maybe the courts get involved as well. And of course, as you know, the legislature did not extend her emergency use after April the 30th. And they sued her at that time. And that is when we started discussing the need to get rid of this 1945 law, as she was likely to utilize it not just through the summer, but again, because there would always be more lockdowns come fall. There were a lot of people who said it won't make any difference if we repeal the 1945 law. And we're going to explain to you right now why and how important that was looking back, but also looking at what happened in October of last year. After all of you got involved, and what did we do? We got 540,000 signatures needing 340,000, and it was only because of all of you. We said if indeed there was an organization, if there was a group that was to raise the money and run the campaign strategically, legally, and all the things necessary in order to run an effective campaign, that we believed we could find up to 10,000 citizen circulators even during a lockdown. When we approached Unlock the campaign, Unlock Michigan is a campaign organization. And yes, when they finished that campaign, the campaign continued because they had to fight through the Supreme Court twice in order to get the full repeal accomplished. They also continued to raise money and awareness and share stories and created an Unlock Michigan Action Fund in order to defeat this governor, the Secretary of State, and the Attorney General moving forward. But Unlock Michigan was a campaign, and when the campaign was over, they were pretty much done, except for fighting to repeal that law. Now, Stand Up Michigan didn't go anywhere. We were here before, we were here during, we're here after, and obviously we're still here and we're doing many things. And again, I'm president of Stand Up Michigan, but I was the state co-chair of the Unlock Michigan campaign because I believed in it. I believed in its language. I believed in its validity. And I believed that when we got it done, that we could get the legislators to indeed vote to repeal it. All of those things did happen, didn't they? We got every single 100% of the senators, 100% of the Republican House members, all voted to repeal that 1945 law. All of them. We also got a handful of Democrats that joined. I'm sure they were given cover and given approval by this governor in order to support that because it was so popular to repeal that law. Now let's talk about its importance. Last fall, when all of this was done in October, and indeed the Supreme Court ruled on two different issues. One, it was 7-0 that the 1976 law was there and valid, and she had no ability to go forward unilaterally utilizing that law. They also ruled on a 4-3, and think about that, 4-3, that the Unlock Michigan 1945 law needed to be taken off the books or considered unilaterally unconstitutional. The reason that that's important is that the Supreme Court changed in November. It became a 4-3 liberal court. Our fear was then, continued to be through the summer, and I can guarantee you into this fall, something that this governor would have attempted to use again when the Delta variant came about. Basically, that is true. And when we finally repealed and we were successful, why do you think they fought all the way through the summer, through the Board of Canvassers, to make Unlock continue to fight in order to get this through and to get the full appeal by the vote of the legislature? And that's because she was going to utilize that law again if it was available to her, because a different court and a different Supreme Court could have very well looked at this emergency and determined differently. And that now is not available to her. That was the reason we said we wanted to make sure no future governor, Republican or Democrat, could ever have the ability to unilaterally control its citizens based on something, based on a virus or any other emergency reason that they might provide or give. Our constitutional rights were violated. All those executive orders were considered null and void and illegal through the entire summer. So what did our governor do? She pivoted to where? She pivoted to the health departments and the state health department. And it was our own governor that was before those microphones all the time utilizing the health department to create a pause last October. That pause was going to be, again, a 3-week pause. The 3-week pause turned into months-long shutdowns and lockdowns of your individual lives, of your in-person schooling for your children and grandchildren, to what they had to wear on their face, how far they needed to stay apart. They did the same thing with our restaurants. They crushed our small businesses. They crushed those restaurants by making them first be locked down for months and then allowed them were the words, to open at a small capacity, an outdoor capacity, how far people needed to stay apart, what they needed to wear on their faces while they were there, and when they needed to close. That happened in bowling centers. It happened in many industries across our state, all chosen and segregated and decided as who was considered essential and who was not. So we immediately knew that there was needed to be a determination and a need, and we went back to, and we said, as a grassroots organization representing your voices, Unlock, can you raise the money? Can you look at a way to write something up to take away the power from these health departments? They are unelected bureaucrats. This is about political science, not science. We've known this throughout the past, and they used the state health departments, and we also knew that they were going to pivot to the local health departments in the future. And now that has become a reality. It's one thing to get language written, and thank goodness their legal team at Unlock Michigan decided not just to go after the state health code and the state health department and to limit its emergency capabilities and time frame to 28 days, and I'll get to that in a second, but also to target local health departments and put the same limitations on them. Both of those are included in this Unlock Michigan 2.0 campaign. We're calling it the sequel because everybody knows what a sequel is. It's a follow-up to what they did. She pivoted from the 1945 law and all of her emergency orders to the health departments, which had unlimited time frames and whatever they considered an emergency with no science and data to back up anything. And now we have our state health department who isn't making any mandates, but is simply making recommendations. And now we have local health departments following through, local school systems deciding what they're doing based on what their local health departments say. And we're saying they do not have that authority. The same thing we told you that the governor had no authority last year. We're asking you to battle and fight at every step, but we need to now take back and take control. So forevermore in the future, the state health departments and Robert Gordon, Elizabeth Hertel, or whoever happens to be there, an unelected bureaucrat, will not be able to determine what is an emergency and control your lives individually, our schools, your businesses, ever again in the future. Why 28 days? Simple. Understand the logic and understand the reasoning. The 28 days is in the 1976 law. It allows our governor a 28-day time limit to declare an emergency without having to get approval of the legislature. It is determined legally and in writing, we believe, because it was a 7-0 ruling, that the 76 law was enough. It was clear and it was being violated, that we believe the health department should not have any more than the 28-day limit. If indeed the governor's 28 days is enough in the 1976 law, and it was 7-0 again. So we believe that the health department's 28-day limit should also be enough. They are supposed to making these unilaterally, not at the order of our governor. The governor should have nothing to do with the health department's determination of emergencies. But they do indeed, I guarantee you, every court in this state, every court from this in this Supreme Court, and even in the legislature knows that there is no way that we are not going to have the ability of a health department to declare an emergency. Perfect examples: flooding in Detroit, sinkholes, the Flint water crisis. It could be a tornado. It can be anything. It can be a spill. It can be another type of a medical situation that happen throughout all time here in our state. They need the ability for a short period of time to be able to declare an emergency. And if we attempt to take that away, if we attempted to sell that on the people and get them to sign that, a court would strike it down. Period. We believe the 28-day limit is enough. Let me give you an example of why that's important. Last year, the 3-week pause. Think about this. The 3-week pause in October could have only gone to 4. Our legislatures were strong. Our members were strong in saying after that, it should be left up to the individuals, their own businesses, their own property, on what they want to do and where people wanted to visit and what they wanted to put on their face. And it should not have been mandated through any level of health department. And if indeed this repeal goes through, and if we get these signatures and we repeal, or should say create this law or amend this law to limit them to 28 days, we believe then that this will never happen again of what happened last year. The crushing of thousands more small businesses, many, many restaurants and workers, many bowling centers. You know who you are. You know if you participated there. You know if you work there, how that affected you and their lives. The same thing of the decisions of what was being mandated on our children in our schools, playing sports with something over their face is something we should have never stood for. Regardless of it, it was illegal all along, but we might as well limit their orders and then it'll be over, because it will require the legislature to approve a way forward after 28 days. And it will also do the same in the local health departments. The reason that's important, just take a look. What has happened in these rogue counties, Kent, Ottawa, Allegan, Genesee, all taking it upon themselves despite their governing bodies. But guess what? After 28 days, their governing bodies would have to go along. They'd have to have a way forward. They'd have to have metrics, and they would have to have a way and an explanation as to why an emergency still existed. That means the county commissioners in a lot of cases, and you saw what happened in Allegan, 6-1 vote that they want them to rescind those mandates. That would mean it would be over. It's up to us to elect proper people to put in those places, on school boards, on county commissions. And Stand Up Michigan and its county chapters and many grassroots organizations around the state are working towards just that. But in the meantime, we have to limit this so that when the next variant, and don't pretend it won't come, when they determine they're going to attempt to use this to lock you down and to control your lives and your businesses and your children and your grandchildren's lives, ever at any time in the future will not be able to stand if indeed we get this done. And I can promise you, if we had the ability to do this in 80 days with grassroots members primarily during lockdowns when nothing was open, restaurants weren't open, businesses were most likely not open, there were no events, no outdoor activities were allowed. And when they went back, they weren't even in school. There were no sports in the fall. So there was nowhere for us. And yet we went out and we sat at street corners, and you went out and did the job and did the work. And our goal was 10,000 citizen circulators. You know, we ended up with over 40,000 people that signed up to circulate Maybe it was in their front yard. Maybe it was through their own connections with businesses and business owners and groups that they were with, or maybe it was just with their family. But they, Unlock Michigan, and I say we. So when I say we, understand I am the spokesperson. I am the face of the Unlock Michigan campaign. So you're going to see me. I am also president of Stand Up Michigan, and that's just fine because this is done on my individual capacity. And I also represent your voices, the 40,000 or more of you that got involved in the Unlock Michigan campaign as members of this organization, but what's well beyond this organization. We're asking people that if you want to join, you can go to unlockmichigan.com and sign up. They are going to be sending, if you were a petition circulator before, eventually you will have a couple of petition sheets mailed to your home because they already have your information because you provided it to them to get the petitions for Unlock 1. But what we need now is, and we have infrastructure started, is we have to have county pickup and drop off locations. And we're going to strategically be planning that over the next week to 10 days while petition sheets are being printed. It takes a lot of money that they're looking to raise. And there was a pause in all of this in order for them to secure the funds necessary to kick this campaign off. If you can imagine, they've got to print hundreds of thousands of petition sheets. They have to get advertising out to get people involved and get them connected. And they're going to have people that are going to begin as they're being turned in to look for validity, to create videos on how and when to do it, and to be able to have people obviously be able to legally challenge anything that comes up because it is and will happen. We're going to have directions for you all along the way. But for today, what my goal is to be able to get you people, everyone out there, to sign up. And what have we done? Well, if you remember, and I want to again go back a little bit, but both Unlock Michigan's Facebook page and or group were taken down the day after the presidential election in November, completely deleted at that time. So we have created a new public Facebook group, and I'm going to give that click up here. All right. The link is also in this video. So if you share this video on your page, and if you invite others, join the new group. It is called Unlock 2, the campaign, but the Facebook group is called, right there on the bottom, Reform MI. You'll see the link to it. If you're not watching this live there, we want you to click the link and join that public group. That is going to be 100% all the time and only Unlock campaign. We may share some of the videos of our success in Unlock 1 to keep everybody to understand how much we did last year, but primarily it's going to be a connection and stories involving this campaign and stories involving why we need to do this. Health department situations, we'll put stories and posts up there. And we want your stories of how these health department mandates have affected you, your lives, your jobs as students, as business owners, your children in the schools, your county and school boards, because those are the stories we want, again, to share through here. But we are going to be posting and be able to connect you with where there are places, where there are events, where you can sign, where you can pick up and drop off petitions. And we're going to encourage our Stand Up Michigan county chapters and leaders to become places where we can store petitions and boxes of petitions to be able to be spread out through each county. We're also going to be encouraging those county leaders to be able to identify businesses and locations within their counties where they can sign and be signing locations in every county across this state. I'm not going to predict how long this is going to take, but I know that we've now connected with, and I want you out there that are watching this also to share this into those groups and those college groups that have been mandated for certain things in regards to their health at universities across this state to be able to start signing and get involved as well. We're going to be sharing this across many grassroots organizations, and I predict that many campaigns that are already running are going to encourage their people, their members, their followers to get involved. And my goal would be to knock this out of the park in record time. And let me tell you why. We're going to put a stamp on this. And you see the logo up in the corner? Shut down the shutdowns for good. We repealed a law. She pivoted to the health departments. Now her poll numbers are so bad, she's pivoting to local health departments. And now we want to take away that ability and that authority forever. I don't believe you should follow these anyway. But the problem is too many people are. Too many businesses are. They have no authority. There is no enforcement capability through these health departments. And I would ask you and encourage you to, first of all, during this time, do not shut down. Do not do what it is these local health departments are asking you. Make your own choices. That's all we're asking. What you choose to do with your life and your family and your business is up to you. What you choose to authorize or okay with your children and your grandchildren is up to you. But it should never be mandated by any government ever. Not now and not ever in the future. We're going to take this away. We're going to check that box. And by the time we get to winter, I want to check that box that we've removed this as another one, and then we're going to use both of these. And we're going to encourage the legislature to not only vote this and take this up as soon as possible, but we're going to also have them push legislation that is just like this and make her veto it. Because she is going to hang this around her neck next year as she is running for reelection. We've got to do many parallel things. We're going to continue to be involved in the things that are affecting you today. Your schools opening without mandates. The health departments being limited by county commissions putting pressure on, and police departments letting them know they're not going to be enforcing these mandates. Make them recommendations, not mandates. They have no authority to create these mandates locally. There are no emergencies that could be considered in most local areas. Not based on the same science and data that they requested and asked of us in the past. I need you to join. Go to unlockmichigan.com and sign up. They have a website there. You'll get the information. You will see videos there eventually that are going to be videos on how, again, to successfully fill out a petition sheet. And we are going to offer, again, I'm going to recommend that all of our county chapters, they're all volunteers, to have their locations and those churches and businesses wherever they're meeting to be able to hold pick up and drop off points, but also to be able to share videos of how to do it, and then to launch everybody out together and have weekend signing events at all activities throughout various counties as we head into fall. I want to show this governor and everyone around this state that if you do not do what it is the people need to have done, we will take matters into our own hands. We will do petition initiatives whenever necessary. We will create laws. We will repeal laws in order to take back our individual rights and freedoms, or as we say at Stand Up Michigan, to protect our sacred values, our citizen rights, and our constitutional freedoms now and forevermore. Churches, wake up. Get involved. Business owners, wake up. Do not stand down. Do not shut your doors for any way, any means, any reason whatsoever. We're going to create some laminated petitions as well so that those public establishments can show people what it is they're signing, and we won't have the issues of petition sheets sitting around. As you know, they can't be. They have to be manned at all times. We will fill you in with more of those details. I plan on coming on maybe 3, maybe 4 times a week, doing some short lives, giving you updates, giving you instructions, and giving you basically the information that is needed for us to coordinate with each other. We also do not have some county chapters set up, and we need that to happen. We need those locations to be identified. Unlock Michigan offers that link for you basically through the group, through the page. There are links at all of those places for you to be able to sign up and say, I'm willing to both circulate and I'm also willing to be a signing location. And we're not recommending those be homes. We don't want any targeting, whatever it is. We want those to be businesses that are potentially open during normal business hours. Those can be any type of businesses, but I guarantee you, I say restaurants, I say bowling centers, I say gyms. All of those places that were shut down and locked down by health departments last winter need to be places, and everybody who walks in the door is going to sign up. Sign this as soon as possible. Petition sheets should be available within a week. I will give you updates as we go into early parts of the week, but what I would ask of you again today is to share this video onto your own pages, your own groups, if they are groups, especially if they are groups about issues that are affected by these health department mandates. And I want everybody to sign up. I want everybody to join up. I want everybody to be willing to just get your own business, your own family, your own friends, your own associates that are involved in your kids' sports or wherever you happen to be involved, the circles you run in, to take petitions and get them to sign. And we're going to have, again, local places that'll be identified through both the Stand Up Michigan, the Reform MI Facebook group, and also through unlockmichigan.com. This is so important, but I believe the energy for this one is going to even surpass the energy that we had last time, because it is very real and it's being utilized and it's being weaponized against each and every one of you individually. And it's an attempt to control not just you, but even your own children or grandchildren and your own businesses. They have no right whatsoever to determine when your businesses should be open, how far your tables should be apart, what they should be wearing on their faces when they're there, and when it is you should have to close your establishments ever again. And you notice at a state level, they're not doing it. And I just say, I dare them, because you're not going to stand for it. It is illegal as it was last May. It was determined so in October. I think they understand this, but they're going to hear from us all soon. Am I right? I'm going to see if there's any specific here. We got Montcalm County, we got Jackson, got people who say they volunteered. And what I'm asking you again is continue to put those in here. We will indeed be connecting with you as soon as those petition sheets are available. They will be posting where it is that they can be picked up. And like I mentioned to you, if you were involved in circulating before and you've provided your information, they will be mailing petition sheets, a couple of them, to your home eventually. But to get things started, we're going to be having these dropped in certain hubs regionally and hopefully in counties, most counties, almost immediately after they are available. We want to begin the process. Again, there will be instructional videos that will be coming from Unlock. I am a spokesman and I am a co-chair or a chair right now of the Unlock Michigan 2.0 campaign. And I'm encouraging all of you, regardless of what background you come from, what denomination you might be, what party affiliation you might have or not have. This is not about a party. This is about your individual rights and freedoms. And I encourage you to get involved, sign as soon as possible. And together, we're going to remove the ability of this health department, both now and forevermore, at a state level and a local level. And I would encourage you during the process to get your county commissioners involved, get them to sign, get them to commit. And we want to do the same with our law enforcement. They're going to stand down. They're not going to get in the way of these mandates in most counties. So don't follow these mandates, is my question. Individually, you have a right to do what you choose with your business. You have a right to choose what you choose to allow for your children. But they can't be mandated by any government, not any governor, or by any health department, now or forevermore. That's the word today. Let's all get together and let's get this done in record time. And we obviously will work on parallel things, managing and taking care of many issues. There may very well be many petitions that are going around, and that's fine. But this one has to be dealt with so that when the next variant comes, this fall, this winter, next spring, next summer, I can promise you, just like the flu, they will be changing it and the mandates will continue, not based on science or anything other than control of the people. And that is never going to happen again in the state of Michigan. Thank you for your time. Share this video. Join this Facebook group. Share your stories with us. And when those posts happen, we will get those out there so you can connect with people sharing the stories again of your situation in your business, your children, your school system, whatever it might be. And together, let's take away these powers forevermore from our governor or any governor in the future and our health department or any health department, state or local in the future. Have a great evening, and we will connect with you again within a couple of days. Have a great time and hug your kids tonight. God bless.